From Bloomberg World Headquarters in New York, this is Street Smart with Carol Masser and Matt Miller.
All right, everybody. Now, we hear a lot about efforts to develop and expand clean energy across the globe. Well, our next guest says the U.S. is falling behind other countries in those efforts. Elton Sherwin is a venture capitalist and senior managing director at Ridgewood Capital, who's just returned from the Climate Control Conference in Cancun. He's also the author, by the way, of a new book. It is called Addicted to Energy, a Venture Capitalist Perspective. Lots to ask you about, Elton, but you're just back from Cancun. Talk to us about any of kind of the developments or trends that kind of surprised you out of that conference. We were talking to a lot of folks from there as well.
Well, I think the big surprise out of Cancun, and perhaps the underreported story, is Coca-Cola. Coke has announced that they are going to remove the greenhouse gases from 10 million Coke machines, and that's just huge. They've got a couple hundred other companies that have agreed to go along with them. There are a lot of other companies that are still using or producing those refrigerants, but it's a great first step.
Now, if I understand correctly, these greenhouse gases, these refrigerants specifically, account for 10% of global warming or climate change or whatever you want to call it. Why can't you just eliminate all of that instantly?
Well, instantly is probably 10 to 12 years to get rid of a lot of these old refrigerators and refrigeration equipment. Of course, it exists in homes, in businesses, in Coke machines, in grocery stores, in cars, and that's exactly what the entire world should do. We should follow Coke's example. They've convinced a lot of other people, and what's remarkable about this is it's not really being required by law. There really isn't a treaty obligation. They're just doing it, and I think we ought to cheers to Coca-Cola for taking the lead.
Well, Elton, that takes me to my next question. You say, there is no law out there. I mean, do you think, that the government needs to be more involved here in terms of pushing companies along, pushing corporate America, giving them incentives, if you will, to be more concerned about the environment?
Well, most corporate leaders want there to be a level playing field. They don't want to have to take the lead and bear all of the costs. They want the costs driven down. They want the refrigeration equipment, the modern stuff used everywhere, and they want a level playing field. So when you talk to most corporate leaders, they really want some degree of regulation, at least targets put in place so they know what really matters and what they're going to be measured against.
Don't they know when it comes to the environment whether they're doing, good or bad for the environment? Why, though, conversely, do they need the government to tell them that?
Well, there are a couple of reasons that it's helpful to have a level playing field and to have measurements. One is just to deal with foreign competition.
All right. Hey, Elton, thanks so much for joining us. Elton Sherwin there from Ridgewood Capital.
My pleasure.
We are going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to bring our